Well, you are live right now. So CEO Wisdom Podcast / Founder Wisdom, because we have both today, Reef Colman, founder and CEO at WeAssist.io. We've been talking and philosophizing, that's a long word, about the nature of work and the world and ethical work treatment, which is quite interesting because Reef just moved places from his past house in which, the security guards, the cleaning lady were not treating super fairly down in Nicaragua. Chase and I talked about Nicaragua as well, and it's quite surprised that you got the 200 Mbps connection. But I mean, we're in the Starlink age, so you have a beautiful view. By the way, I really envy you for that, and the house looks amazing. But Chase, Reef and Chase, Reef Chaser, Reef, tell us about yourself and your company, WeAssist.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate you, brother. Thanks for having me on. Really cool. It's my first YouTube live. Hello, YouTube world out there. Yeah, I guess
two people.
Yeah, all people around the world viewing from their little boxes. Yeah, I originated in Uruguay, South America. Mom was a heck of a fighter. Made it across the borders. Worked 3 jobs, collected cans. Got us to the US, decided not to squander her hard work ethic, took my whack at American life and workability, worked up the ranks, 4 jobs in college, plus, doing college, paid my mom and paid for rent, decided to work at a company doing sandwiches, was the marketing director, created equally advantageous opportunity for them and helped them fundraise and do grand openings with schools. That went so well that I realized that this is a passion of mine. I like helping people and projects, and also pouring back into community and humanity while building companies. So I decided to take a stab at my own marketing agency. Sucked. I suffered. It was horrific. So jumped off of that and then decided to go into outsourcing. People kept asking me about players and good players and hiring good players, and so finally I said, if I find you one, will you take them? And they said, yeah. And that was 4 years ago, as of August 28th. So in 9 days or in 7 days, will be our 4-year birthday. And I've been sourcing ever since. Yeah, helping people find great level players and people, and bridging the gap between humanity and workability. How to give people benefits, mental health care, dental health care, all the things that they need to feel human, and feel good working from home. I think the work from home platform is here to stay. I think it's a future. I think it's how we'll make the next generation better. Kids can see their parents working from home. It has too many positives. It outweighs the negatives. Yeah.
Wow, dude. Okay, let's start with Domino's Pizza and Jersey Mike's subs. How did you have these franchises grew so fast? I've never seen that. You've managed 17 Domino's Pizzas franchise and 79 Jersey Mike stores, directly open in 49 of them. And yeah, you took them from negative to positive in a very short amount of time. How did you do that?
Yeah, that's so one of the projects I created was the fundraiser. It was essentially how to start a store or launch a store. They used to do like a free sub for $1, and that was just like one at a time. And that was good. And then my mentor said, hey, I need you to fix this for me. And he's the person that hired me, like one of the largest franchisors in the US. Amazing guy, Alvaro Garcia, great mind, great heart, from Nicaragua, actually, that guy. And he said, fix this for me. So we did a coupon. At the bottom, it was, they were all net positive coupons. So instead of giving away a free sandwich with $1 card as a donation, which is double net negative, I created a coupon where there were net positive at the bottom. And every coupon brought in sales plus extra cash on top. And we could still give each school $3 from each coupon. And then I made all the schools compete against each other. So I made a competition in the city. And what I coined was the equally advantageous triangle. The equally advantageous triangle is essentially how all people work in benefit to helping each other, equally advantageous relationships. So there's people, there's fundraiser, and then there's work or company. Company wants to look good to the people. So they like to pour into things that people care about, which is a fundraiser, and then it makes everyone happy. Fundraiser needs money. Well, they use the business as a conduit to the people. People like to feel good, like they're doing altruistic things. So they actually get back to fundraisers, but if they can feed themselves while fundraising, then they feel very happy. So it knocked everyone's like ethical checklist essentially. And that helped Instead of raising like $1,000 or $1,200, we're raising like $18,000, $36,000. Yeah, that project. So over 11 days of a grand opening, instead of being negative 20,000 or negative 40,000 a grand opening, would be positive 40, positive 60,000. Yeah.
Wow, dude. Then how did the agency go? Why did it go so horrible? Agencies are quite hard. What happened there?
I was just not a good enough, entrepreneur at the time. Like I just didn't listen to my friends. My buddy was like, hey, agencies are too hard to scale. You need to step away from this. And I didn't listen. I was just like, I kind of got stuck in it, I wanted to help people, but I just wasn't doing what I needed to do to get people out of like hiring the right employees. Like I couldn't get people out of the trap of helping. Long story short, after opening so many stores, I saw Chamber of Commerce, they needed marketing, and a lot of people were stuck in the old ages. And I was like, let me help these people. And I found out very quickly that the people just didn't have a line item for marketing. They just didn't care marketing just wasn't top of mind for them. So as much as I try to help them, it was always the first thing to go when Grant Cardone will say marketing's the thing that you double on when you're going low, like you have to double the money, you have to get more sales in, whatever other great grand mentors say. So I realized that I was just going after the wrong demographic, and I didn't know how to scale a business until I started outsourcing. Then things changed, but then I realized that agency was the wrong avenue for that. It was employment. People were looking for employees. Yeah, that was a good lesson. I mean, I worked hard there. I worked so hard. I Ubered 9 a.m. or 6 a.m. like 4 a.m. to 9 a.m. 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. I worked in an office. I rented for $500. 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. or midnight, I Ubered again. Fridays and Saturdays, I'd Uber till like 4 or 5 in the morning. On Sundays, I'd go to the dollar store and buy sunscreen, put it in a backpack, and sell it at the beach for $10. I worked 7 days a week like an animal to start that business. I still remember like driving Uber 18 hours and just like eating McChickens and hating it. I was like, taking calls, asking a guy for cash because my card didn't like balance. And I was like, hey, I need to put gas in the car. Do you have a cash tip? And he's like, here's 20. And I was like, thank you. That guy has no idea that he's still a part of my memory. He was just a guy giving me $20, but I still remember him to this day, like giving me $20 to put enough gas in my Prius to drive for the next day and a half,
Whoa.
Yeah, it's fascinating. Yeah.
Tell a story. And you started WeAssist around the same time. So you had both agencies running side by side, right?
I started one after the other one. I wanted to really build out the agency model, and it just wasn't working, and I decided to go into outsourcing and dissolved one, and then after dissolving it decided to start the next one. I was working with at the time I got hired with Neil Patel and his company under Ryan Betancourt and Mike Camo, working on two of his software companies, Hello Bar and Subscribers. So for a year and 9 months, I worked in the morning, 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. With in the office in San Diego, and then 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. or midnight, I worked on WeAssist. So I worked at two different companies, two different times. Yeah. And
which brings you to today in Nicaragua, enjoying life. So I guess you did pretty good there.
I'm doing better. I found something that finally aligns with me. Like I sleep so well at night. I'm helping people find the right workplace. I used to always help people. I felt like I always help people make connections, but I never got rewarded for it. So I finally feel like I created a business where I can make connections with people and be rewarded for it,
Seems that was always part of you, right? Where did you get that? Is it immigrating to US with your mom? Like, where did you get that ethical part deep in your heart?
Yeah, I think there's something interesting about humanity. I think having a little brother that had CP or cerebral palsy, and my mom, and seeing how hard people work around the world was incredibly helpful. I think also reading a different book every week is super helpful. When you start reading books all around the world, you realize it's very fascinating that we're just a species, flying through space on a rock, going 22,000 miles an hour through space, around a gaseous ball we call the sun. But when we look up, we call the rest of them stars, but because ours is the closest one, we call it the sun, so it's like, we're a fascinating species to be where we are today. And I think there's a part of me that I don't know where it comes from, but I'm just called to, I feel called to ask more of the questions that unite us as a species rather than divide us. You have a brain, I have a brain. You have a heart, I have a heart. We both have a want for our offspring to do better than our last generation, What are these things that unite us as a species instead of what separates us? I think the future of our planet is in our hands, and the future of our consciousness, we don't know what it is, where it comes from, how it exists, why it exists. I think we have a very big calling for us to continue this process called consciousness and keep testing it, and let the future generations have a better platform to answer some of those harder questions, whatever that is. If it might be simple as, where do we come from, or what are we made of, or, what's the next planet, extraplanetary or multi-galactic, whatever the next level of humanity is, keep searching it. We still have a lot of questions out there to answer. No reason to get stuck on the few that we have answers to or don't have answers to. Keep searching for bigger questions. Yeah.
No, these are fun, but also often I ask myself actual questions, why are some folks taking such pleasure at separating themselves from the others? I do that sometimes, sometimes I put up incendiary Twitter comments. Do I want to attract attention? Do I want to be different? Do I want people to validate my difference? Because these are all very primal mechanism. Back in the days, if you were in a community of 30 and if I killed Roger, if Roger messed with me, I wouldn't hear of Roger ever again and I would become chief of the tribe. But nowadays we're like billions on this planet Earth. So I feel that unifying is way better. Doesn't mean to stop competing, but I think we should unite more, especially when we will meet these aliens, which do exist. I mean, in my mind, it's pretty sure that they do it. I don't know what kind of scientists, quote unquote, it takes to believe that there's no other living form of beings out there. And we could talk about that, but I do feel that, we're going to value a bit more our humanity, or does it take a war to value our humanity, to understand that we're all humans? What do you think about these things?
Yeah, I think that it's pretty fair to say that to be a living extraterrestrial beings, whether it be a microbe or a single cell organism, all the way up to a very complex being like us, I believe aliens are out there. You have to believe that there's something else living in space right now, currently, somewhere on the multitude of planets and rocks. How complex are they? We don't know. I think what you're saying is very good. I think that there's something about warring that unites sapiens. Like if we have a thing that we're against, we seem to be very close to each other. Polarizing comments on Twitter do get emotion going. Like we're a very emotional species. And I think you're totally right. People just kind of get, we like to get riled up or clan together. So I think there is a part where, like right after 9/11, when the Twin Towers came down, the country was more united than ever before. We were like, America, and then like even robbery stopped. And then like 3 weeks later, it's like we forgot, we had amnesia. We were like, okay, back to work, back to robbing people and hurting each other. Like it's fascinating how quickly our species forgets and moves forward. I think a good principle, one of my principles is, how are my inputs today impacting the next 2, 5, or 10 generations? Another one of my principles that I don't share with a lot of people because it's a little controversial is when other species view us and they meet us, how are they going to measure us? I think about that a lot because I think about if I was a species that came down on a primitive species, like we look at an ant, are we going to want to work with a species that is more unified and can work in cohabitation, or one that wants to war? Chances are they're not going to want to work with war. We're just going to die. Like we're going to fight something that just moved across a galaxy. We're not going to make it,
I have one regarding to that one, and it's way more immediate. It's when this AGI God comes upon us, how are you going to be judged? Because this AGI will know everything. It will know your past. It will know your future. It will pretty much know everything about you, and you will be judged, And so that's even more controversial than the one you just said, because yes, I just said that if there is a God, his name is AGI. This thing will know everything. It will be able to go back in the past and measure all your footprints, basically know everything you said and have done online. and that there will be a day of judgment. Now, will this AGI kill us all? I don't think so. I think it will be mostly helpful. That's my belief, and I don't have much to back it up. I've had folks on this pod saying the complete opposite, but when I think of being virtuous, I do think of this AGI that will literally know everything about me.
What is that, like AI, you mean, like artificial
It's
intelligence?
generalized artificial intelligence. So it's when AI will hit a singularity point in which it will advance so quick, at the rates that GPUs are advancing, will spread to the web, will make more sense out of that information, will throw experiments left and right. By the way, that experimental shell phase is kind of dangerous, depending on what experiment it decides to make. But yeah, it's basically a freed version of intelligence that can propagate and spread instantly, and hence can advance a million times quicker than our brains.
Yeah, I think, I mean, you're talking about a very fascinating topic to me. I think the advent of AI is a very interesting state, They say suspend all judgment until further data. And I suspend a lot of judgment in this realm. I suspend it because if you don't suspend it, you could freak yourself out, But I think like extraterrestrial beings and then like AI, that can come towards you and essentially dictate reality and maybe police us and also run robotics. We're entering a very interesting realm. Like as sapiens, we have to have a form of cohesion, That's why the things like God's work, or like other like belief systems, you need them because essentially what they do is they give one bigger belief system for everybody to work under. If that's not happening, then we kind of like run rampant a little bit and we kind of destroy things, So it's interesting that in that process, we may be creating our own artificial God intelligence or something that can oversee us, because we somehow have this want to be free, but freedom for us is overseen. And somehow we can't, like our brains can't comprehend that at the same time, It's fascinating.
Yeah. I think purists would say that humans can't create a God, but yeah, that's purists, right? And purists are rarely right. Suspending judgment, though, I think it's helpful to get points left and right, especially like if we live in a capitalist system, the first of us handling AIs will have like a huge advantage. Now, it doesn't really appease the thought of, the anxiety of like what could happen with AI. I had some of that starting this year, not only related with AGI, but just because there was something new every day with AI. It was tough to keep pace as a as a business owner. I think, in the end, me, I'm mostly positive about AI because yes, I don't want to be anxious about it. So that there's that huge bias in my mind. So I need to be careful with that. But definitely, I do think that uniting very smart people in one room, like OpenAI did with ChatGPT, is going to lead to major breakthroughs. And that's what we're seeing in Silicon Valley right now. Like there's the smartest folks that are working full time into this. Now, what would that bring to your business? Like with VAs, for example, do you think that will actually help them? Or do you think that will completely replace some humans that are known to do simplistic tasks out there?
I think that with any great innovation, we're always going to have some form of displacement. That's going to happen regardless. I think that's just the way humanity is. I think the question isn't so much like if it will happen, but how and when it will happen. Like evolution is going to happen no matter what. It has continued to happen and will continue to happen. So I think the idea that evolution is, going to slow down at any time is probably pretty absurd, because data has shown us that it continues to move forward. The idea is how do we work with evolution? I think for a long time, our species hasn't figured out yet how to work together in unison. Is that ever possible? I don't know, but we haven't figured it out yet, obviously. And I think as that goes on with AI as a perfect example, there's going to be people that don't believe in it. Like they didn't believe in the typewriter, like they didn't believe in the printing press, like they didn't believe in the computer, like they didn't believe in the internet, like they didn't believe in the written word, like they didn't believe in papyrus paper to chisel and stone. These people will exist that don't believe in something, but it doesn't matter whether you believe in it or not. It's going to happen, regardless. So I think working with these tools is what's going to help most. Right now, we're pivoting to VA AI, so virtual assistants that work with AI tools, only AI tools. And that's all they do, is they leverage AI tools to make a person's life easier. Because that's the best way I can think of to help humanity right now in the short, as fast as possible, grow with these tools. Otherwise, they won't be able to keep up with the tools. Like, they will be displaced. People will be put on the back burner. Yeah.
Love it. Might want to leverage you guys if that's the case. I think, you can be incredibly efficient at an assistant that leverages AI can be at least twice as productive as one that doesn't. So quite bullish on that. What's next for you guys this year? Where do you want to grow?
I think for me, it's replicating this model in different countries and being able to pour back into people. What country are you from originally?
Montreal, Canada, the city and the country.
Hey, let's go. Yeah, that's right next to Quebec, the oldest province in like the Americas, right? 400 plus years.
Yeah.
Yeah, fascinating place, right? Canada is a great proof of concept, for example, as a nation, as a group of people. But I think spreading a product or a belief system like WeAssist into different countries and allowing different countries to take advantage of the same powers that outsourcing companies have, like, BPO, 40 years, 30 years of the large factory, call centers, allowing SMBs, small to medium-sized businesses, to have the same power in their office or in their companies, the benefits, the tax, everything, so they can have it in their companies. My goal is to be able to bridge that to as many people as possible in as many countries as possible. That way we can at least try to help our humanity be better for the next 2, 5, or 10 generations. So I'm pretty bullish on that. I'm very aggressively trying to hire as many people as possible and put them into play to as many companies as possible so that people can change their lives. Our kids need a better platform. Like, we need to have youth that have a better opportunity for the future, and answer some of the bigger questions that we haven't yet answered. Like, those get me excited. Like, those geek me out, just to know that Reef Colman, my brain, my time here on this planet through space and time might be adding to the solution of a bigger problem in the future. Makes me very excited. I'm like, oh, I'm part of a bigger, no one might ever remember my name, it's like an asterisk, but at least I helped that person that one day will be remembered to make a better impact. Yeah.
Love it, dude. That's two of us. So let's unite and make a killing out there. Where can people find out more about you?
I think just reach out to me. Instagram, all my handles are the same. Reef Colman, REF COLMAN, like the coral reef. And then Colman, like the camping gear, but without the E. They can reach out to me on any platform, and I'll be more than happy to say hi and say what's up. On my website, WeAssist.io, if they want to contribute or be a part of this. Right now, we're working on an NPO, nonprofit organization, where people can donate money to us, and we will use that money to help lives in other countries. And that money they can then return back to us. So example, like $1,000, you donate to it, that $1,000 goes to a project, let's say solar panels, and then they pay back into the fund. So then your money gets used over and over again to give back to community.
Love it, dude. And I am Charles Cormier, host of the CEO